Hello, everybody. Happy May. We are moving on to volume this week, and you guys will like this so much more than surface area. Obviously, because everyone thinks of volume as length times width times height, and that's what it is, except we're not always going to be given a rectangular prism like you're seeing here. But yeah, you guys are going to love volume because I think you probably learned how to first do this in like third grade, and then we just kind of put our own little flair to it, okay? So, volume is the name of the game. I'm just going to go through a few slides with you quick before we move on to some problems here. If you want to write down a definition for volume, it's the amount of space a figure occupies. And, oh boy, I want this to go away. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. And we have this generic formula for volume. So you'll say like volume, this big V here. So volume equals big B times height. We use a big B because it stands for the base area of whatever solid you're finding. So whatever that base area is times the height of your prism or your solid, that is the volume of it. So again, volume equals big B times height. Base area times height. Okay, that is volume. My printer, again, really didn't do me much justice, so I'm gonna click over here to this next slide, because this is our first problem on our notes. It says, find the volume of the solid. When I switch now over to my doc cam, just know that we have this rectangular prism here, and then there's like a hollowed out cylinder, okay? And I want to find the volume of this. So I hope you're thinking, oh, I'm going to find the volume of the rectangular prism, and then we're just going to subtract away the cylinder's volume. Because it's like there's like a hole through our rectangular prism, okay? So keep this mental image in your head, draw it. There is one on my paper here, it's just not a very good copy of it. Just know that, okay? So I'm going to switch now over to my doc cam. And I make this big for us. Okay. Again, if you didn't get down your volume definition formula, take a second to do that here. And then we are going to try this example. Okay? So, if I want to find the volume of this solid, remember we're going to take the volume of our rectangular prism. So let's start there. So I'm going to find the rectangular prism. So remember, our volume is base area times height. Base area times height. So if I have this rectangular prism here, I first have to figure out what's the volume of my base. Well, it would just be 5 times 5, so that is my big B. 5 times 5 is 25 times our height. Well, how tall is our rectangular prism? What's 10, right? So I'm going to plug in my 10 there. So I have 25 times 10 for a total of 250. Not too bad, right, guys and girls? So our base area, 5 times 5 times our height of 10. That's the volume of our rectangular prism. Now let's find the volume of that cylinder. So now let's find the volume of the cylinder. So remember, we have base area times height. So if we start with our base here, my base shape of a cylinder is a circle, right? And then to find the area of a circle, it's pi r squared. So pi r squared. Our radius they're telling us is 2. So I'm going to plug in 2. I'm going to square it, so now I have 4 pi. Now let's just leave this sit for a second. Now let's go over to the height of our cylinder. Well, how tall is this cylinder? Well, our cylinder is also 10 centimeters, so times 10. So now I have 4 pi times 10, which gives me 40 pi. And then if we take our calculator here, folks, 40 times pi is approximately, we'll say 125.66. We'll just do that for now. I'm going to shimmy my little dot cam over here. So remember, that cylinder inside that prism, it's hollowing it out, right? So now we have to subtract. So if we subtract our two volumes, we're going to have 250 minus 125.66. And we are going to get approximately 124.34 centimeters. Now here's the only thing different. Volume, since we have 3 dimensions, it's 3-dimensional, it's cubes. Cubic centimeters. So don't overthink anything. All you're doing, again, is finding the base area of both of your solids, multiplying by the height, and that gives you the volume of your solid, okay? These ones are not in your notes, but they do show up in your homework, so I just figured maybe we should talk about them quick. This is my really poor drawing of a triangular prism, but we'll be okay. I think we can manage. Maybe you can see it. It's like a triangular prism sitting on its side. So we have a triangular prism. Okay, so if I want to find the volume of this, remember it's volume equals base area times height. So if I want to find my base area, remember it's this triangle here. So how do I find the area of a triangle? Well, we know that's half base times height. Well, I know I have a height of 16, but what's my base down here? Unfortunately, we don't know, but we know the hypotenuse of this right triangle is 34, so I can put that 34 here, and now we have one of our favorite problems of all time, the Pythagorean theorem, obviously, right? So we can find out what our base down here is. So I'm going to take 16 squared plus x squared equals 34 squared. Crunch these out real quick. We have 256 plus x squared equals 34 squared, 1,156. Subtract over our 256. Ooh, I like this, guys. We're getting a nice whole number. Love when that happens. Does anyone know what that's called when all 3 numbers in your Pythagorean theorem are whole numbers? That would be called a Pythagorean triple. So 30 is our base. So now if we plug in here, half our base of 30 times our height of 16, 15 times 16 gives us 240. All right, so we found our big B. Now what is the height of our prism? Well, how far back does that triangular prism extend? Well, it goes back 22 inches, so 22. So now we're going to take 240 times 22, and we get an answer of 5,280 inches cubed. There we go. Awesome job. And then I just want to do one more with you, and then I will send you on your way for this lesson, okay? This is a really bad drawing of a cylinder. Okay, so we have a cylinder here, and we are trying to find its volume. So again, volume equals our base area times height. So if I want to find my base area, my big B, I have a circle, right? And how do you find the area of a circle? It's pi r squared. My radius would be half of 6, so it's 3. So pi 3 squared gives us 9 pi. Let this hang out for a second until we get what our height is. Now our height is how tall our cylinder is, but we notice we don't have that information. Lucky for us though, they drew in this diagonal, and we now have this nice right triangle. So again, we have one of our favorite problems, Pythagorean theorem. 6 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. 36 plus x squared equals 100. Subtract over our 36, we get 64. And folks, again, we get another Pythagorean triple. Love that. We love to see that. Love having whole numbers. Okay, so now we know our cylinder has a height of 8. So now we can take that 9 pi times 8 to get 72 pi. And if we approximate that, 72 times pi is approximately 226.2-ish yards cubed. Okay, well done, folks. Thanks for watching. Have a super fantastic day. Come to one of the Zoom calls. It's a great time. We just do the homework together, and then you're done for the day. So I miss you all. Keep working hard, and we will talk to you soon.